Welcome to Chapter 4, Lesson 4, where we learn how to work with the Pathfinder panel, which is going to be a new panel you guys have not had any experience with yet. So our final project is going to be called Last Name, First Name, and it's going to be called Heart Parts, and it will look like this image here. So let's go ahead and open up our start file by going to File and Open. And then we're going to go to the Handout Drive. And then go to Business Handouts, Shonifer, Computer Graphics, and catch up real quick. So Shonifer, Computer Graphics, Illustrator, and Chapter 4. And the file we are going to open is 4-9. Let's go ahead and open that. Once that's open, what we're going to do is we are going to select both of our circles, so using our selection tool, clicking on our first circle path, and then holding shift and clicking on the second circle path. Then what we're going to do is we are going to go to Window, and we're going to open up our Pathfinder panel. So with those circles both selected, we are going to select the option called the Unite button. And if we hover over these shape modes, you can see their different titles. So we're going to select Unite, and it's going to combine those two paths so that we have the two circles overlapping. So now what we're going to do is make sure our selection tool is on, click on our diamond, and we're going to drag our diamond so that it overlaps with our circles, but that our endpoints lay right on the path of the circle. So right here and right there. Then what we need to do is we need to delete our anchor point. So we have a delete anchor point tool, which is a hidden tool on our pen. So if you go to your pen tool, hold it down, you can select your delete anchor point tool. So what I want you to do is come up to this top anchor point, make sure when you hover over it, your smart guide says anchor, and you're going to click on it and just get rid of that smart anchor tool. Go back to your selection tool, deselect everything, and it should look something similar to this. So now what you're going to do is select your old diamond, or now a triangle, hold shift, and select your circles as well. And what we're going to do now when we have both these items selected is we're going to come over to our Unite tool, and if you hover over it, you can see, sorry, I need to go back here. If you hover over it, you can see that if you hold Alt and click, you create a compound shape and add to the shape area. So for this one, we're going to hold our Alt key, and then we're going to click on our Unite button. And now if we come back over and we have our selection tool and we deselect everything, it should look something like this with just a little center triangle in the middle. So now what we're going to do is we are going to remove our black stroke and fill this with a red color. So I like to click on my selection tool, make sure everything's selected, come over to my stroke color and remove it, and then come to my swatches, remove your fill, come to your swatches, make your fill active, and change it to a red color. And then if you deselect, your image should look like this. So now what I want you to do is go to your rectangular tool, which is a hidden tool, or right now you should just show your rectangle. Click on that, and you're going to draw a rectangle over that open space. And then I want you guys to change the fill color on this rectangle to black. And then I'm going to show you how you can combine those images using that Alt function and that Unite. So you're going to hold down, go to your selection tool, make sure your rectangle is selected, hold down Shift, make sure that your, I need to be on my selection tool, and make sure that your heart is also selected. So holding down Shift, clicking on this heart, and then we're going to hold down the Alt key and click Unite. And that's going to change our heart to be black, just like the square was. So now what we're going to do is we are going to double click our scale tool, and then we're going to do our non-uniform scale, and we're going to do it at 90% horizontal and 100% vertical. So selecting non-uniform, 90% horizontal, 100% vertical, and clicking OK because we want to alter our current object. And that just makes it a little more narrow. So then we're going to rotate our heart by going to our rotate tool, which might be hidden behind your reflect tool, or it might just be visible. And then we're going to double click on our rotate tool, and we're going to rotate this heart 180 degrees. Again, not making a copy, just altering our current image. So now what I want you guys to do is you are going to hide our circle by going to Object and Hide and Selection so that we can create another shape that we're going to add to our heart later. So the first thing is going to our rectangle tool, clicking on our artboard, and we're going to create a rectangle that is 1.5 or square technically by 1.5 and then hit OK. And then hopefully you still have your stroke as none and your fill as black. So now you're going to create a circle. We're going to go to our rectangle tool, and it should be a hidden tool for our ellipse tool. Click on our board, and we're going to make a circle that is 1.75 by 1.75. Click OK. And now we have a second circle. So now what I want you guys to do is go to your outline mode so that we can see how we're lining this up. So we go to outline mode by going to View and then Outline. So we're going to take our selection tool and we are going to move our circle so that it's outlined or overlapping our square right about here. It doesn't have to be perfect. But then what we're going to do is we're going to do our reflection tool. So we are going to go to our reflection tool, make sure it's active, and then we're going to hold down our Alt key and then press our center point on our circle so that our reflection tool option shows up. So we are going to click on our vertical option, and then we are going to create a copy of this. So clicking on vertical and then going to copy. So now we have two circles, but we won't be able to tell that at the moment. So we're going to go to our selection tool, click on our path, and drag our other circle over so that it's overlapping right about here. And you want to make sure that you have this space on your square in between the two. So then what we're going to do is we are going to go to our Select All. So go to Select and then Select All so that all of our options are selected. And then we are going to use our minus front button. So we're going to get rid of everything that is overlapping around the outsides of it. And that is under our Pathfinder. And we are going to select this minus front. We're not going to hold down the Alt key for this one, but we're going to go ahead and click it, and you'll notice now that the circles and part of the square disappear. So after we have that done, we can go back to our preview mode by going to View and Preview, and now you should have this black shape. So then I want you to go ahead and go to Object and select Show All so that we get our heart back in our image. And what you're going to do is you are going to move this so that you make a spade shape. So we're going to hover it over until we think we have it about right. And then I want you to go to Select and All. And then once we have everything selected, we're going to hold down our Alt key and then come over to Unite again so that we can make this one object. So clicking Unite and then deselecting everything and using your selection tool to move this object around and making sure that that bottom piece is now moving with your image. So go ahead and deselect, and then I want you to come to your shape tool again. And right now you'll probably see the rectangle, but go to your hidden tools and select the stars tool. So click anywhere on your board, and you're going to create a star with a radius 1 of 1 inch, a radius 2 of 3 inches, and points are going to be 8. So that means it's going to have 8 points on the star. Go ahead and click OK, and then I want you to change the fill of this to yellow and make sure that it has no stroke. So then you're going to align it about in the center of your spade. So we need our selection tool to be able to do that, so not on the star tool anymore. And we're going to move it down to about where this, there's no white in between here, and there's just a little bit of black showing so that we have it centered in our spade. Then what I want you to do is use your selection tool to select your spade in the back, and you're going to go to Edit Copy or Control C, and then we are going to paste an image in the front. Now it's only going to paste in front of that spade and not in front of that star, which is what we want. So now with the spade selected, we're going to hold down our Shift key and select our star as well. So now what we're going to do is use our Intersect Shape Mode tool, and that is in our Pathfinder panel. So with these both selected, we're going to come over and hover, just hover over these options so that we can see the names. And this one is our Intersect tool. So we want to hold down that Alt key to create that compound shape and that intersecting area. So hold down the Alt key, click on that option, and you'll now notice that that color disappears where they're not intersecting. So take your selection tool and deselect everything and save your work as last name, comma, first name, heart parts. There will be a part 2 to lesson 4 of chapter 4. So please turn this in under heart parts and then move on to the next video.